Welcome back, guys. We're going to solve quadratic equations again today, but we're going to do something called completing the square. And this is one option that you can do when the equation won't factor. So yesterday we factored to solve. If they won't factor, then this is what we go to. We go to completing the square. Okay, I'm going to show you 3 problems here just to kind of get you through the process. So the process is not that hard, but there are about 3 or 4 steps you really have to know. And looking at this problem, you can tell there are no factors of 7 that are going to give you 10. 7 and 1, they don't want to give you 10. So you can't factor it. So here's the steps. Step 1, we're going to take the C term or the linear term, whatever the term this is, over there to 7, the constant term to the other side. When you take it over there, you want to leave some space where the 7 was. So I'm going to make a -7 there, leave space where it was. And here's the process. And we're going to have a gesture for this tomorrow, which will really help you, but I know you're excited about that. Take half of the 10, which is -5, and then we're going to square it. So that's what's called completing the square. Half of 10 is -5. If you square anything, it becomes positive. So I'm going to put a positive 25. Now that's illegal. Just put plus 25 on one side. So what you have to do is also put the positive 25 on the other side. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do the other. You can do whatever you want to one side as long as you do it to the other. Okay, so on the right-hand side, if you just add those up, I just about added that wrong, you would get 18. On the left-hand side, what that's done for us is now I can factor. There are factors of 25 that have to be 10, and they're 5 and 5. It's the square root. So instead of writing x minus 5, I'm going to put x minus 5 squared. It's the same thing. Okay, so that's why it's called completing the square. Okay, you got a square in there. Now to get rid of the square, because I've got to get the x by itself. And so to get rid of a square in a problem, you take the square root. But I got to take the square root of both sides. Don't forget that, square root of both sides. So if I take the square to the left-hand side, it just cancels out the square. So I get x minus 5. On the right-hand side, I have an 18. And I know you've done this in geometry in algebra 1. You have to break down that 18. Like 18 is really 9 times 2. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 2, I don't know. It stays in. And also, one more little thing. When you take a square root in an equation, you need to put a plus or minus in front because we're looking for 2 solutions to this quadratic, by the way. So one more step when we're done. You got to get x by itself. So I'm going to move the 5 to the other side. I'm going to put it right there in front. This -5 on the left-hand side, so when it crosses, it comes plus 5 equals 3, plus or minus 3 on 2, sorry. So x equals 5 plus or minus 3 on the square root of 2. Okay, I'm going to show you a couple more. I thought that may be a lot the first time you see it, but the more you see it, the more you do it, I think you're going to have a hard time at all. All right, let's look at another one here. Same situation. You cannot factor because there are no factors of 8 that would give you 4, which is our middle number. So can't factor. So we're going to try completing the square. So I'm going to take the 8 like we did last time, take the 8 to the other side, and then leave space. Leave space where it was. Okay, so now, in order to work this out, again, the steps are this. Take half the middle term. The middle term is -4. So half of -4 is -2. And then we're going to square it. So if you square -2, you get +4. Make sure you add it to both sides. The right-hand side is now 12. The left-hand side is going to factor. And guys, it's always going to factor into a square. You think about this. What 2 factors of 4 add up to be -4? -2 times -2. So I'm going to put x minus 2 squared. It's the same thing as writing x minus 2 times x minus 2. And here we go. Same steps again. You got to get rid of the square. To get rid of the square, you take the square root of both sides. All right, the left-hand side, the square just goes away. No big deal. The right-hand side, don't forget to put your plus or minus on. To break down the 12 if you can, and you can, because 12 is really 4 and 3. And when I break stuff down, remember, I'm trying to find numbers that have a square root that go into the 12. So 4 has one. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 3, I don't know. That's why I didn't use 6 and 2 right here, because 6 and 2, neither one of those is a perfect square or has a square root. So no reason to use those. Okay. Move the 2 over, and you're done. The 2 goes right here in the front. It becomes +2, so get 2 plus or minus 2, 1, 3. And that's what a lot of your answers are going to look like, by the way. They're not going to look like, I got 6 and 4. You're probably going to get answers like that because if you got the other type of answers, you could factor it, which would be much quicker and easier. Okay, one more here, and then I'll stop the video, let you relax. Okay, so one more time. Factors of 5, 5 and 1, will not give you 8, so you can't factor. So moving the 5 to the other side, x squared plus 8x. Leave space where the 5 was. Make sure you get the right sign on the 5. And I'm going to complete the square. Half of 8 is 4. If I and I'm gonna square it. Take half the middle, square it, half the middle, square it. That's 16. On this side, don't forget both sides to put your plus 16. All right, this side over here, well, the right-hand side's easy, it becomes 21. Over here, x squared plus 8x, what factors of 16 add up to be 8? 4 and 4, the same number, so I'm gonna put x plus 4 squared. And now I'm 2 steps away. I'm gonna take the square root of each side. Left-hand side, that's just x plus 4. The right-hand side, you don't forget your plus or minus, and you get square root of 21. And then finally, just move the 4 to the other side. If you move the 4 over, it becomes negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 21. Guys, that's it. Completing the square. Solving by completing the square. Hope that wasn't too bad for you. Maybe you've seen it before. I don't know. Could have. We'll work on it tomorrow like we always do. See you then.